Although
Hello,
I
hello.
can't see you, your screen is completely
This
black.
meeting is being
Oh,
I can see you
recorded.
now.
it's coming.
Oh, you're very I want to say stuttery and starty and things. Not too sure
Sorry.
why. Hello, Sue.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I've been rushing around because I've had the dentist and everything, so I won't be smiling very much tonight.
No, no, don't say that. We won't
I've got a
smiles.
huge gap.
Huge gap.
Yeah, got to have a tooth sorted. So
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
yeah,
Didn't know what you meant then. But
yeah.
cool. Sounds good. Well, let's get cracking. The other guys who are joining us, they can join us, and we are going to make the most of the time that we have got. Today, I am proper looking forward to this one. Proper looking forward to it because I am. This is a brand new session that I haven't done before, and I know that it's going to be really, really empowering. So give me 1 second here because someone has literally just messaged me asking me, can I send them the link in the Slack group? So give me 1 second here because I want to make sure that they receive it. There we go. And there we go. 2 people for that. Lovely. Cool. So we are going to get cracking because today is a brand new session, and I'm really looking forward to this because for you and for everyone else who is going to be tuning into this, and you guys watching this on replay, this applies to everyone. I know sometimes when we do these sessions, some people find themselves in, hello, Alison, some people find themselves in situations where naturally with sessions some apply more than others, and sometimes it resonates in a bit of a deeper way, sometimes it resonates in more of a way that this will apply to everyone. Why? Because this one will apply to every single one of us who ever deals with emotions and or enters relationships and or deals with themselves. If any of the above was you, whether it was one or three or two, it applies to you. Good evening, Becca. Hope you're all good. One of these days, my goal is for you to have your camera on and you not to have a child hanging around your neck, but we'll see. So let's get cracking. Today, I'm going to teach you the languages. You need potentially a pen and paper, although you don't need it at the start. Hello, Kiara. Although you don't necessarily need it at the start. Okay, so all you need is your ears and eyes at the start. Learning the languages. Now, here is what is hugely important to begin with when we talk about learning these languages. We all speak a different language in life. All of us. We speak a different language in life. And to be fulfilled, however, it's never about what it's never about what language you speak. Never. It's always about learning and understanding what language you need to speak. So let me break this down for you. You can see it on screen. Let me break this down with you. I work with you guys. Okay. Now, I'm going to roll a bit of a dice here. This is going to be quite funny. Tell me, what type of character am I? This is going to be quite funny. I can say this in the comfort of you guys. You remember a couple of weeks ago where I posted on my stories that, someone commented on my thing and they put like supremely punchable face? Do you know that one? Do you remember that? Did anyone see that?
Hmm.
I thought it was a bit harsh, if I'm honest with you. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have heard it before, but it's a little bit harsh. Anyway, I found out it was Roxy. That was Roxy who's there. I'm joking. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't Roxy. It was Roxy's burner account that she does when she like tries to like troll me from. No, no, that was Rox. But anyway, I'm joking. But tell me, what type of character am I? Alison, you've got your mute off already, so you're already prepared. Tell me. I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, I think you're very easygoing and fun loving.
Easygoing and fun-loving. Interesting. Let me call Rachel. Rach, hear these compliments, please. I'm joking. I'm joking. Sue,
I think you're strong, but you've also got a very mischievous side.
fair. Tell you, I might keep this going.
Yeah.
Let me just strap in a little bit here. Rocks. Oh no, here we go. Why did I say this? I'm about to get gunned down here. It was all going so well. Actually,
No,
forget rocks. Rocks, if you're gonna do it, then
no, it's going to be nice. You've got a good heart.
thanks, mate. And from you, I know that means like a real depth of it. So thank you very much. I do appreciate
I
that.
had to try really hard then.
And I really appreciate that. And I won't keep going around, it's not an ego stroking contest here. But Victoria, Kiara, and Becca, I know you was about to just say, wonderful guy. I know, I know. That's why Mark didn't show up this evening, I reckon, because he knew I was going to ask that question. He was like, I'm not doing it. So here's the thing. No, Mark's ill. But here's the thing. You would all have different opinions of me, depending on what language I speak to you. Meaning, with some of you on when we worked on a program together, I might have been a little bit, you know, more loving and kind-hearted. Or some of you I might have been a bit mischievous. Some of you I might have been a bit strong with. Some of you I might have been a bit irrational with on purpose. Some of you I might have been a bit direct. I might have been speaking very different ways to you depending on what I felt like you needed at the time. Here's the thing. Most people go through life and they try and speak a language to themselves and to others that doesn't resonate with them. That doesn't resonate with them. Let's say, for example, and feel free to put your hand up. Let's say, for example, if I was very direct and aggressive with you, put your hand up if that would resonate with you all the time. No, cool. No one. Put your hand up if I was very calm and very tentative and very, just easy with it, like this. If that would resonate with you all of the time. No. And so what I look to do is excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold here, so apologies if I'm a bit sniffly, but I look to put a blend in at times of how and what is the best way to speak to you. Why? Because I want to speak your language. I'm not interested in speaking my language. To put this in simplistic terms, if all of us are different nationalities here, and let's say I'm German. If I'm speaking German here, and I think that, the best way to speak is German, and Victoria's going, no, the best way to speak is French. And, Kiara's going, no, the best way to speak is Polish. No one is going to be able to understand each other. And we're all going to have the best intentions to try and share what it is that we want to do. We're all going to try and have the best intentions of trying to convey our message in a way that is heartfelt and loving. But we're all going to be doing it in very different ways that no one is going to be able to resonate with. If I'm speaking with Victoria, I simply need to know that Victoria speaks French. Doesn't matter what I speak, I need to know that Victoria speaks French. So therefore, I need to learn how to communicate in French there. Does this make sense? Now, the problem is this. Excuse me. I'm interested in you first and foremost, and then I'm interested in your wider circle because that's what influences you. Most people have no frigging idea what language they speak. Most people don't know. They exist on Earth and they think they're speaking English. You hear them and you're like, mate, you're Portuguese. Most people have no idea what language they're speaking. Second to that, most people have no idea who the significant people in their family, their partners, their parents, their kids, their friends, they have no idea what language they're speaking. So what goes on in life is that we end up in a haze because we never can communicate with ourselves emotionally. Why? because we don't understand what language we need for ourselves. And we never understand how to communicate with those around us who can help uplift our emotions because we never know what language to speak to them. Oh, different stages with all of you. I would have sometimes taken a direct approach. I would have taken a more of a heartfelt approach. I would have sometimes taken a lighter, more jesting, more probing approach. I would have taken so many different approaches with you, and I do wacky things in some of the sessions to communicate so it speaks a language that it resonates with you, and you go, huh, makes sense. It's like me now. I'm delivering this bit of the session in a way that, okay, I'm sort of get on board this, I'm ready for the next stage. Whereas if I started this like incredibly aggressive, incredibly there, you'd be like, whoa, 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 like, I can't even understand what he's saying here. Okay, make sense? Cool. So here's what we need to understand, because you don't need to do this at the start, but we're going to do a little bit in the last session, we workshopped it. But in this session, I'm going to spend the main part of this explaining it, and then we're going to do a bit of workshopping at the end for yourself, because I'm interested in you to you, and then, which is the most important one, and then you to either a significant other or a family member or someone else in your life who you'd like to form more of a closer relationship with. Because why? Because ultimately, this is what's going to be able to create an uplifted place in your emotions. Okay? So this is what we're going to do today. So let me share this with you. Excuse me. There are 7, and some of you might have seen this before, by the way, but there are 7 ways in which you communicate with yourself via language. And what I mean by language is the language of what I'm using. There are 7 different avenues of how you do that. Okay, let me explain those to you. The first one are words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. Now, this is where you express affection either to yourself or to others through spoken praise, compliment, words, or appreciation. So, for example, if I, say, do you know what, Kiara? Good on you. I love the way that you took control there. I love the way that you dealt with that situation. Really, really good on you. I'm saying words of affirmation. If I say to my partner when she gets ready, do you know what? You look nice. You look really lovely today. Or, I love you. Words of affirmation. Okay. Now, at this stage, I don't want you to start dissecting them all. I'm going to lay them out for you, and then we're going to piece them together. Okay. And from this point on, I'm going to use it from an example of myself, how I'd communicate with myself in that way, and then how I'd communicate with my wife as an example in that way, so you can see how it works with significant others and yourself. Okay. But this could be done in any way. So there's words of affirmation. The second part, acts of service. Showing love, and I can send you all this after, so don't necessarily worry about writing all the full description down. If you want to just write the core terms of it down, then do that. Showing love by doing helpful things for your partner, such as running errands or doing chores. So how I do an act of service for myself, for example, is by going, do you know what? Take some time out for yourself today and go and do that, what we call ways of self-connection or ways of self-reward. Do you remember that? Or where I do, you know what, I'm going to go and do that for me today. I'm going to go and get my hair cut, paint my nails, get the car cleaned, do this, do that, go for a meal on my own. An act of service. An act of service from my significant other might look like, do you know what, I can see how busy you are with work. Let me take Albie out. Let me go and do the dog walk. I know you said you was going to do it. Let me cook dinner because I can see how busy you are. That's an act of service. Okay, just so we're all clear with these. Third one, and if you want to write the examples down so you can remember, then that's fine. Receiving gifts. We all love this. Receiving gifts. The thought of receiving physical gifts to show you care and are thinking of them. Again, receiving gifts. Very, very simple. Pretty much what it says on the tin. I've bought myself this. because I deserve it. I wanted to. I never spend money on myself, so I bought myself these new pair of trainers. I bought my wife this because I wanted to. It's very, very simple, that one. Receiving gifts. Simple. Next one. Quality time. Giving someone your undivided attention. Excuse me. Giving someone your undivided attention and spending focused, mindful time with them. So, how you would give this to yourself is where you go, right, you know what? I'm going to spend this next hour just sitting there, maybe doing some breath work, maybe reading a book, where my focus is solely on me. Heart-led power. Quality time. How I'm going to do that with my wife, and she implemented this rule, which is absolutely great, and I love it, but this was before we knew all of this type of stuff, is we have this rule, which is at dinner and things like that, or any meal times, we do no electronics. That's the way we call it. No electronics. No phones, no laptops, no music, no radios, no TVs, no electronics. Both busy people, quality time. Undivided, focused attention, unless I've got like a Domino's in front of me, in which case, I'm split. But that aside, it is, some of you are like, yeah, I understand what you mean there, Matt, to be fair. But what I'm saying is, in that moment, is undivided quality attention where it's there. You see it from myself, you see it from a significant other. We're about to uncover them all for you. We've got 3 more. Physical touch. Very, very simple. Expressing affection through physical contact, like hugs, hand holding, and cuddling. Now, I'm going to tread a very fine line with this particular one because it is a form of language speaking. So that's why it's on there. But I would very much like to keep this a PG way of explaining this one. Okay. So, for example, physical touch for yourself might be like taking care of your skin routine and taking care of moisturizing, taking care of certain areas like that, because I'm going to look after myself physically in that way and give myself the care that I need. With my partner, it might be things like holding hands. It might be having a hug. It might be, when I'm sat here and she just comes up and doesn't say anything, gives me a hug, and then just leaves. No words have been said, but it's an act of physical touch. Now, there are obviously ways that can be expanded upon, which I'll let your creative minds work out for yourself, but I'll keep it PG here. Okay? So that's the only time in my life I've kept things PG, by the way, but let's just keep it there. Next one, activity. Sharing new experiences or activities together as a way to bond and create memories. So, for example, I come back to it again for myself, activity. When I talk about, ways that I'm going to connect with myself is where I'm going to go, you know what, I'm going to go travel to that country. You know what, I'm going to go and run that ultra marathon. You know what, I'm going to go and run that marathon. You know what, I'm going to go and swim the English Channel. All those things of what I'm talking about from there, it's a way that I can bond and experience something as a way of speaking the language I need to myself. Yep. Stay with me now. Some of you are zoning out. Stay with me. Yep, there she is. She's back. Good. Thank you. And so that's that. The way it might be with a significant other, with my wife in my example, it might be through date night. It might be through booking a holiday. It might be through going out for a meal together. An activity, something that we do together. Final one. Appreciation. Showing a deep sense of appreciation for your partner, whoever it may be, and who they are. So, for example, final time for myself, heart-led power, taking some moments. I think I might have said it to some of you. When I often take a moment, I stare out of this window during a day and I'll just, reel off a few things to myself about things I'm appreciative and grateful and thankful for. And I really, really soak them in. Excuse me. And so that'll be a way that I really find some appreciation. within myself. Take those moments to find them. Go for a walk and, without getting all cliche, breathe in the air, take in a moment, look at my surroundings, think about how far I've come. That type of thing. How it would be from my wife's perspective, for example, is letting her know how thankful I am for her, letting her know that the little things that she does that we can often take for granted, like right now, I'm delivering this call and I know she's downstairs making dinner. These types of things are like, you know what? Excuse me. I'm incredibly thankful for that and being more aware of that. Now, these are the 7. And like I said at the start of this particular training, whether you get all Essex on you, whether you are aware of it or not, you're speaking a certain type of language. You are speaking a certain type of language here to yourself and to your partner or to your significant other, whether that be a parent, whether that be a friend, whether that be a partner, whether that be a child, whether that be a colleague, whoever may play a role in your life. You are always speaking languages. What this session is about you getting in tune with the core languages that you need to learn. Because there's many languages out there. I don't know how many, 100 different languages out there of life. What matters are the 2 core ones, how you speak to yourself, and the 2 core ones that, for example, a significant other, which are the main ones, because we can get into all different things, but these are the two core ones you speak to with yourself and the 2 core ones that you speak to with your partner. Now, before you go down that route, Alison, before you go down that route of psychoanalyzing, I love it, good, but let me walk you through it so we'll all go through it together, and so you don't just jump to a conclusion with these things, okay? Because we're going to break this down. Because like I said, that is the key question. That is the key question. Because I can't tell you the amount of people, excuse me, the amount of people who might be speaking the language of acts of service to themselves, and what they crave is appreciation within themselves. Or they might be speaking activity, and what they crave are some words of affirmation. And so what we are going to uncover here is, number 1, how you wish to show it to yourself. How you wish to show it to yourself. Not what do you wish others to show it to you. So I'll get to that bit. How do you wish to show it to yourself? And I'll give you some examples of myself as a leading point there. Second to that, when we go into it, how do you wish others to show it to you? Okay? How do you wish others to show it to you? Because when you're clear on that, you know very clearly what language we need to be speaking. We know what language I need to speak to myself and what language I need to share with my wife so she knows what language to speak. And then I take those 2, which is what you're going to do. More importantly, I know what language I need to speak with myself. Okay? No? Let me come back here. Are we all on the same page? I want to make sure I'm on the same page here as well.
Matt, sorry, it just said on mine that the recording had stopped.
Yeah, it said it on mine as well.
Oh, okay. That's all.
But it still says it's...
This meeting is being recorded.
Yeah.
I might have to merge the 2. Who knows? We'll see. So, it might be that I just merge the 2 of these together. So, this is how we're going to break this down together. Okay? So we can do this. What I want you to create for yourself is like so. This is what I want you to create. I wish for you, please, to write your line or draw a line here. Just like this, very, very simply. And with that, you are going to create 3 separate columns. And you are going to label these columns. Me, to me, you are then going to label the next one. And you can put whatever you want. That means significant other to me, whoever you deem that significant other to be. And then, wait, SI? Significant other. Jeez Louise, man, long day. That's significant other. Okay? Now, we are going to focus on the first two columns because you won't know what the third column is without having that conversation. Because otherwise I'm just guessing. So here's the thing. When we look at these and when we bring these on screen, when we look at these right now, we all have, excuse me, we all have two core ways in which we will communicate with ourselves. And we will speak the language that resonates with us. Excuse me, sorry. And the importance of this, because I know this is quite detailed, is the two in which I speak with myself are often not the two that I want my wife to speak to me as my significant other. So let me give you an example. Number one, for me, how I show it to myself is appreciation. Number two for me is activity. From me to me, the way that I feel like I can connect with myself, I can make myself feel emotionally seen, heard, understood, the way that I can allow myself to feel like, you know what, I feel content, I feel fulfilled, I'm creating an emotional home that resonates with me, that feels like I'm at peace and calm with myself and fulfilled and like all of those nice feelings that we want to create. The way that I communicate with myself in that way, the language I need to speak for all of those lovely emotions that we all want to feel much more of, is through appreciation as number one. So I do it every day, a heart-led power. I sit here and I take a moment and I list some things and I have a moment with myself in that way. And second is by creating new experiences for myself constantly. Because I'm like, you know what? That's a way that in my language, I respect myself. I think a lot of myself. You know what? I'm speaking a language that resonates with me. For some of you, it might be through saying nice words to yourself. It might be through, you know, doing a service where like you're like, you know what, I'm going to go and get my hair cut, or go and get my car cleaned, or go and do this, and that's a service. Or for some of you, it might be buying some things for yourself, makes you feel good. For some things, it might be where I just sit there and take some time out, doing some breathing, reading a book, doing that. For some of you, it might be taking some time for your skincare range, or for your moisturizing, or for some, you know, go and get a massage. For some of you, it might be like, you know what, go and do that new experience for yourself. For some of you, it might be like, you know what, sitting there and actually going, you know what, I've bloody smashed this week. Good on me. And actually having some dedicated time to do it. So from what I've listed there, I want you to take a couple of minutes and I'll leave this as an open room. And what I mean by that is just press yourself on mute and I'll be happy to help you. But write down, what are the two for you? Okay? What are the two for you? And ideally, you would put number one as the one that you think stands out for you. And remember, this should be very clear, just so there's no grey area. You are not writing down what you want from others. You are writing down what you show yourself. Does this make sense, Rox? Okay. Didn't know if you was looking at me like I had a supremely punchable face again. Okay, she didn't deny that, so fair. I want you to write those down. And once you have done, take your time with it. But I'd be interested if anyone, and you don't, by no means do I expect anyone to have to do this. So if no one answers this question, that's completely fine. But I would be interested to know in what some of you may have written down here. just for the simple reason that one, I'm not going to tell you it's right or wrong, because who am I to tell you what language you speak to yourself, but because I'm just interested to know, because I'm interested to see how you got to that conclusion, and also I might be able to help you in some way. So take your time if you need a little bit more time. Would anyone be willing to share what they wrote? No, that's fine. Oh, you would. Okay. Hello, Alison.
Hello.
So, remember, this
I
is for
haven't
you.
actually finished it yet, but
Okay. Oh, no, take your time then. Take your time then.
just
Don't
a
rush.
minute. Just give me a minute.
Yep, take your time then. Take your time. Don't rush. Have a look. Don't rush. And I want you to write down which are the two, and you might give a few examples of how you show yourself at that thing. Which are the two where you feel like, you know what, when I do this for me, that's when I feel most content, most at peace, most loved, most appreciated, most supported, most, appreciated, most fulfilled, whatever it may be. These are my core two, as I said. Mine was appreciation followed by activity.
Right, I'm ready.
Okay, and no rush for anyone else, so feel free. But I'm interested, Alison, what did you write as number one? From you to you.
Well, as I am now, because I'm only just learning how to do it, but I'm doing it more naturally now. So words of affirmation.
Okay.
Because I have to, I always feel like I think better about myself when I give myself praise for things that I do that I don't always realise or take for granted that I'm doing.
Okay.
So I have to sort of try and compliment myself and appreciate how well I am doing, because I don't always realise it.
Beautiful.
That makes sense.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely makes a lot of sense. And it's lovely to hear that, because not only is that a wonderful self-awareness, not only is that a wonderful avenue for you to, like you said, I've just started doing it and I've started recognizing it within myself, but it's also something where I would look to say, you know what, great. If I was to build an emotional home for you, I know that that needs to be at the forefront of certain things if
Yeah.
I'm speaking about me to me.
Yeah. Well, as you
Okay.
know, what I'm working on more
There's a reason. There's a reason why. There's a reason I said that.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you're happy to share, then that's cool.
Oh yeah, of course I am. Yeah.
But so that's great. And just so we're clear here, because I've had this question before, someone's asked me. When I say before, I mean when I've not done it in any teaching context like this, but when I've just spoke about it. What's the difference between words of affirmation and appreciation? Words of affirmation is a little bit like what Alison was saying. It's more regular praise and awareness of around what I'm doing and all of those types of things, and giving myself the encouragement and the praise for that, the things of what I'm doing. Appreciation is more of a deeper sense of, I don't need to necessarily outwardly say it, but I have moments where I just take some time to feel it. They're the difference between the two. Okay. Just so we're clear of how they both resonate. So from Alison to Alison, we know number one is words of affirmation. What was number two?
Appreciation.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because I focus a lot. I find myself focusing a lot on gratitude now. So when I wake up and when I go to bed, they're the things that I focus on.
Right.
Showing myself feeling grateful for the things that I have, and because sometimes I think you lose sight of all that, don't you?
Of course you do. Of course you do. I mean,
that's what a lot of my mistakes through life have been. I've lost sight of all that.
And I appreciate that greatly, and we all do. Like the law of familiarity says that anything we spend enough time around, we'll eventually take for granted. I don't care what it is. One of the biggest, I know it sounds backwards, but one of the biggest challenges that I think we all have is to try and stay loving and connected and grateful and appreciative for the things that we've got. Because as soon as you get it, we naturally go, yeah, that's wonderful. Well, what's next? Because that's the way that we are in life. So I love these things because now if I'm looking at Alison's emotional home as a context, I know that the absolute foundations of all of this need to be built on a place of consistent words of affirmation and some deeper moments of appreciation. There's no point me, buying myself some lovely gifts and, going to get that new moisturizer. And there's no point, but I'll get to this later. There's no point in me, buying myself that thing or going to do that moisturizer or, what's something else on the list I'm looking away. But, taking myself out and getting a massage. It's like, these are lovely things, great, but they're not actually giving me what I crave underneath. Can we all see that? It's not that we would never go over and take ourselves for a massage or go and buy ourselves that new moisturizer or, not sit there and read a book. It's not saying we'd never do those things, but they're not the key language of what allows me to speak to what resonates with me. And has everyone got else theirs written down? Yes? Good. Beautiful. Because now, I love that. We're going to go on to the next one. And so if I can bring this off this, stop share, back to my whiteboard. So I said for me, number one was appreciation. Number two was activity. Now that's what resonates most with me from that context. Okay? That's what resonates with me most from that context. Now, from, for example, my wife to me. From my wife to me. I look at this and I have some different answers. Because for me, I have different ways of how I feel that from my partner at this stage. For me, number one is physical touch. And number two, she gone? Would be acts of service. Now, these are very, very, very different ways to how, and I'm going to get to this later, to how I would show it to myself. How I would show it to myself. For myself, I'm out running ultra marathons for 40 hours non-stop, and people going, this guy's a madman. For me, I'm going, baby, I'm speaking my own language. Then, for example, my wife could be like, you know what? This is a great example of this. You're out showing that for yourself. Do you know what? Let me come and crew for you. And what crew means is basically whilst you're running for 40 hours non-stop, they follow you around the track in a car and basically are at like aid stations just waiting for you. They sit there for like 3 hours and wait there for you to run in, to give you a sort of Capri Sun and an energy gel and send you on your way. And she goes, you know what? Let me stay up for that and let me do that with you and let me do. And if you see from all the runs that I do, I always used to give her the most credit for them. If you really scroll back on my page, you'll see I always give her the credit for it because it really spoke to me. It really spoke to me. And for example, like I said earlier, sometimes I'll be sat here, and when I'm sat here, she'll come across and, I'll just be sat here, for example, and then she'll just pop up and just give me a hug and disappear. No word said. And I'm like, like a pig in shit sat here. And that's it. Like, that spoke to me. Thanks very much. And then I'll crack on with my day and this and that. But it resonates with me. It resonates with me. Now, I'll get to some other bits in a moment. But when you think about you and whatever significant other that you may be thinking about, it might be a parent, might be a partner, might be your child, it might be your friend, it might be your work colleague. It might be, I don't know who plays a significant role in your life. It might be nieces, nephews, whoever it may be. How is it that you like to feel seen, recognized, understood, loved by them? Because what you might find that there's similarities. You might find that there's slight differences. What I would love to know here is what is it and how is it that you like to feel that way from them? Because if I can bring this up again. No, wrong one. Get rid of that. That's the wrong one. There it is. If I can learn what it is that I require from them, I can then start to create an emotional home within myself where all bases are covered, where I know exactly what languages I'm speaking to myself and what exact language a significant other could speak to me to make me feel even further fulfilled, even further enhanced. So have a look and take a moment. And write down what it might be. And my recommendation for this is to have one core person in mind. Don't think of 5, 6 other things because you'll think about it very differently from what your mum does to what your husband might do to what your cousin might do. So think about it from a significant other perspective and have one person in mind who you like to form a close, empowered relationship with. Work colleague, boss, friend, whoever. And then start to note down what are the ways that I like them to show that to me. Because this bit that we're getting to now is incredibly important, incredibly important. Because if you want to know like why your husband's always off playing golf or why your wife is off always, you know, spending money on herself to make herself feel nice, or why your mum is always off just spending some time on her own, it's probably because, likely because, potentially because is probably the best way, that they're having to do me to me because at times they're not getting significant other to me. And if we're not getting significant other, we generally bury ourselves in me to me. And they're both important, but generally we want to make sure that they're both topped up fully to make sure we feel fully fulfilled in that way. So see how that makes sense?
Mhm.
It's really quite important. So again, maybe if I can work with someone else, that would be amazing, just so we can get different viewpoints here. But if anyone felt comfortable, would anyone be willing to share potentially what their significant other to you 2 core main traits are? No, no worries at all. And that's completely fine because I completely value the fact that this is quite a personal question. So I completely value that fact. So we'll lead with my example. Because I value that. And if anything, I'm quite pleased of it because in a roundabout way, everyone's really thinking about their own thing then, and they're really thinking about this is personal to me, and so therefore I'm not too sure I want to share that, which is fine. I have utmost respect for that, so no worries at all. But this is where it's really, really. Has everyone got 2 written down?
Mhm.
Yes, good, good. Because this is where it gets incredibly, incredibly important. Incredibly important. This is why there is also here, this is why there is also a 3rd column. Okay, this is why there is also a 3rd column. because we must understand. You're not going to fill this out now, this third column, because you're not going to be able to, because this is why. Because if I take this example, and I want you to do this as I'm doing this, if I look at it, these two are my main two. My bottom one, my bottom least, they're all nice. You know, I'm never going to turn my nose up at any of them. They're all nice, but my bottom least resonated one with me is words of affirmation. Is words of affirmation. That is the one for me out of the 7 that is the language that resonates with me the least. Resonates with me the least in that way. And if I'm honest with you, I could probably, oh, don't do that. I could probably just extend that across there and put that across there like that. Words of affirmation for me is the core thing that it's nice, it's lovely, it's always nice when people say nice things. It doesn't resonate with me as strongly, nowhere near the other 6. And it's not about going, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I know my top 2 here and here, and I know that this is 7th. Now, you can think about yours in a moment. But this is where, excuse me, sorry for sniffing again. But this is why this is so important. Please lock in on this. It's because if you go and speak to your partner, if I'm using a hypothetical partner as an example, significant other, says my number 1 here is words of affirmation. Now, here's the thing. Let me ask you, based on this, how would I communicate with my significant other, i.e. my wife, that I love her? How would I communicate with her that way? Just unmute yourself or just shout out. How would I communicate with her that I love her? Don't overcomplicate it. It's pretty much what you see on screen. I would communicate with her the way in which I feel it, through physical touch and acts of service, because that's how I feel it. Surely that's how everyone must feel it. What did I say at the very start of this? It is not about the language you speak. It is about the language you need to speak. Because, and I know this is quite intricate, but it's incredibly important, because if mine is physical touch, and let's say my wife's is words of affirmation, she might tell me all the time, Matt, I love you. Matt, you mean so much to me. Matt, you're incredible. Matt, you're wonderful. Matt, you're brilliant. Matt, you're this. Matt, you're that. Whatever else it may be. And in my head, all I'm hearing is because words don't mean squat to me. I'm more interested in actions. I'm more interested in feelings. I'm more interested in deeper things in my language of things. Now, the importance is this. If my wife's number 1 is words of affirmation, and I'm trying to go, oh, can you give me a hug? And she goes, no, get off me. Because hers is, that's 7th on her list. All of a sudden then, I'm going, what do I mean? Does she not love me? And she's coming up going, oh, I love you. And I'm like, yeah, great. I'm just busy at the minute though. She's going, oh, does he not love me? Because we're both trying to communicate a language. Like I said at the start, I was trying to speak German to Victoria. That's not the language Victoria speaks. Victoria's trying to speak to Kiara in Polish. In French. That's not the language Kiara speaks. Kiara's trying to speak to me in Polish. I speak German. You see, this is where we get caught up. It's important to understand, what language do you speak to yourself? What language do I need to speak? Because for me, I'm not a words of affirmation guy. I said to you, it's my least important. But I know it's my wife's number 1. So I better be good at it. I better tell her how much I love her, how much she means to me. You know what? She's wonderful. She's this, she's that. That. Why? Because it's not about what language I speak, it's about the language she speaks. Can we see this? Good. We're all nodding. Good. Because the reason that this gets so important is because I work with so many good people, and the more that I work on this and the more that I'm doing this, the more you learn, and working with people is the best way of learning. I'm doing more and more things with people in relationships and this and that. And naturally, I'm about emotions. So I'm not here to give people relationship advice. But what I'm here to do is show people how we communicate emotionally. And that's what this is. Because I can love my wife to the absolute depths of earth. But this is where good people end up in fractured relationships, and they don't know why. With themselves and with others. They don't feel like they can connect with themselves, and they don't feel deep and meaningful in that heartfelt connection to themselves because they've never truly learned how to connect, how to talk to themselves. They have so much love for their partner or their mum or their dad or their brother, their sister, whoever it may be, but they've never truly learned how to speak their language. They've only tried to communicate via the language they know, which is what that middle column is. And so you think, you know what? If I love a hug, surely they must love a hug. My wife sits there and she's like, get off, I'm busy. I'm like, I want to give you a hug. It's hypothetical, but I want to give you a hug. And she's going, no, I'm busy, get off. I'm like, she doesn't love me. It's not the case at all. Not the case at all. It's just not her way of communicating. So if she can communicate with me in my way and I can communicate with her in her way, and alongside that, I know exactly how to communicate myself, I'm fully topped up at all stages. So important. Because deeper that we all work with each other and the deeper we go into this and the more ways that we uncover, we have to understand how to communicate and resonate with ourselves in meaningful ways, in really meaningful ways. Otherwise, when it comes to about, feeling deeper feelings of calm or of peace or of understanding or of whatever it may be, when it comes to all of those deeper feelings, we're going to be like, yeah, I'm good. I have good moments and, I'm really communicating with myself well now. And then all of a sudden we slip out of it and we're like, I don't know what's changed. I don't know why I don't feel as at peace with myself anymore. Well, a big part of it might be due to this, due to the fact that we need to understand this core essence of it, how to communicate via these languages. Does this all make sense?
Mhm.
Do you have any questions, anyone? No? Because here's my thing. That when it comes to the nature of these, one, if you felt comfortable and if you wanted coaching on this, and of course, naturally, I'd like to coach you on this, I would love if you felt comfortable, of course, sharing with me what your you to you was. Keep your significant other one to your personal life unless you wanted to share that and you wanted extra coaching on that. But share with me what your you to you was, and also share with me in private, of course, not in the group, but in private, ways in which you think you can express that. It might be through some ways that we've already uncovered together. It might be through heart-led powers. It might be through state. It might be through incantations. It might be through ways of self-connection. It might be through many different areas that we've looked at that you go, you know what? Yeah, that really resonated with me. When I take action and I do the power of now, you know what? I really start to resonate with that part of me. Wonderful. Good. You know what? When I really, use the triple C method and I organize my things and I do myself the acts of service of going, right, this is how I'm going to put these things into place. And I formulate a plan and I have a plan and I really feel like I can connect to them. And write down how you do it for yourself. That's the first thing, or not the first thing. That's one of the things I want you to do. Another thing that I would want you to do, and I recommend doing this sooner rather than later, i.e. ideally would be right now, is whoever that significant other is, have that conversation with them. And just simply say, Look at that list. Which two are the most important to you? Which two are the most important to you? And when they look at it, they won't, you haven't got to go into detail of at that stage, well, this is how I communicate this. So they will tell you the way in which they want to feel love and appreciation and support and connection and fulfillment. They'll tell you that because they'll tell you what two they value the highest. And then say, okay, which one do you value the least? And they'll go, well, I like them all, but probably out of them all, I'm not really that fussed about gifts, to be honest with you. Great. Well, now you know that Christmas coming up, I can spend time getting a really nice gift for them, which is wonderful. But what they'll really, really appreciate, and this happened to me at one of my birthdays once, Rachel baked me an Oasis cake. Like Oasis, the band. She made like a mini Noel and a mini Liam. And she got these little stickers from like, I don't know where they were, from Etsy. They're like edible stickers and stuck them around. She baked this cake from scratch. It was bloody, I've still got a picture on my phone. Bloody beautiful, like bloody amazing. And honestly, I'm not just saying it to make effect. It was the best gift I got that birthday. And I got some pretty good things. I got some really like pretty nice things, if I remember rightly. You know, we went to Rome. We went to in Italy. We went out for a nice meal. You know, it was my favorite thing. Why? Because for me, it was an act of service. And that is what was one of the two highest things on my list. And I go, you know what? Time she's done to do that. That's a proper act of service, that. And that really resonates with me. That's what's important. Because with all of these things that are coming up, like I say, we want to know how to communicate in the best ways with yourself and with others. And I'm happy to give further coaching on this because I think it's so important for us all. All makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so I recommend, like I say, three very clear steps from here. Write down. 1, send to me what your you to you is and give me examples of that. 2, ask your partner what's theirs. What's their most important to? 3, ask them what their least one is. And once you've done that, then you've got a conversation where you can share with each other and go, this is what language I'm speaking. I'm speaking a language of physical touch and appreciation. So I'd love it if you could show me that. And physical touch and acts of service. And you're speaking a language of affirmations and activity. So I'll look to speak your language. Because remember what I said at the start. It's not about the language you speak. It's about the language you need to speak to be able to communicate with yourself and others. There is no point you going to Japan and learning Spanish. You can put as much effort in as you want. You can spend years saying, you know what, I've put all of this effort, all of this energy, all of this emotion into learning Spanish. Doesn't matter. You're in Japan. Should have spent that time just speaking Japanese. It'd been a lot smoother for you. This is where people just, you know, like I said, good people end in fractured relationships with themselves and with others, not because they've done anything wrong, but just because they're spending so much time in Japan, they don't know what to do anymore. Well, just speak the language. Stop speaking Spanish. It's obvious when you say it, but most people are not aware. And if you want further coaching, you know where to find me. We got it?
Mm-hmm.
Different type of session, but really, really important. 1, how you show it with yourself. 2, how you show it with others. With that being said, please mark in your diaries. Ooh, buddy, I'm excited. Monday, the 15th December, 6:30 p.m. Strap in.
What?
The Christmas quiz is back. Yes. But some of you weren't here last year. We have some newbies on. There are prizes to be won. That is all I'm going to say. Make sure, and you may bring one other, You may bring one other, either pet and or human. Last year, Roxy brought a pet instead of her partner and won.
Hey.
So if that means anything to you, there we go. Maybe bring your gerbil instead of your husband or your wife, and you know what? You might also just have a good time. But all in the lead up to Christmas, like I say, I think it's just as important that we have some, connection time. It won't be lost on me the fact that there will be a training that replaces that, so don't worry about that. There'll still be that, but make sure it is in your diary. 6:30 p.m. on Monday the 15th is our Christmas vibes that we're going to get in the mood for, and it's going to be a really, really wonderful session. For those of you who wasn't with us last year, I'll be saying a bit more on our next session, but believe you me, it was really, really cool, and we'll have a really fun time with it. Okay, I'm just marking that in your diaries to make sure that, oh, I can't make it because, I've got so and so. No, you're here. Let's go. We're on it. Don't let me down. We're all good? Send it across to me via Slack. If there's any questions, let me know. Those of you watching it on replay, send it to me as well. And I'll see you very soon, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
No worries. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.